Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. So I'm going to share with you this story that I received this afternoon. The message reads like this. Hello my brother, can you please post for me as anonymous? So I used to date this other guy. Me and this guy, we started to date whilst we were still in high school, and he himself, we didn't finish high school at the same school because he went out of the country. He had to migrate to the UK, him and his parents. So from the moment that he left the country for the UK, we just lost communication. We never spoke to each other until like a couple of years ago, the time when Corona started. I saw that I had just received this friend request and the name was like familiar, so I accepted. Then as I was going through the profile, I then realized that this was like my boyfriend from way back, and I could see that now he was living in the UK. So we spoke and we spoke and we spoke, like during the lockdowns, everyone was on their phones, so we used to chat for a couple of hours. We even came from Facebook and we went to WhatsApp because we wanted to do something like video calls and the stuff. So we used to do video calls until we started having like sex on the phone. That thing, like you'll be naked and him on the other side, you'll be naked, and we'll be just be pretending as if we are having sex, but we'll be doing it on the phone. So as we spoke, the more we spoke, he kept on telling me that he wanted to visit back home, and the only reason why he wanted to come back is because he wanted to see me, because this thing of us just chatting, having hot chats each and every day, he was like telling me that I cannot take it anymore. I have to come there and see you. So on my side, I was thinking that maybe I'll be lucky and this guy was going to propose to me, then I'll find my way out of the country and I'll also migrate to the UK. The only thing that was holding us back, it was the Corona with all the lockdowns and stuff. That was the only reason why he couldn't travel back to the country. Finally, when the lockdowns were lifted and people were able to travel, he then told me that he was going to book a flight to come back home. So I was so excited about the whole thing because he told me that he wanted to go with me everywhere. He wanted to show me to his relatives so that we can begin this whole process of us getting married and stuff. On the other hand, he had told me that right there in the UK, he was still legally married to this other woman, but they were separated and they were planning to have a divorce. So he told me that I was the right woman that he wanted to get married to. So I was so excited about the whole thing. Finally, when the day came when he told me that he was going to be on the flight coming back home, I was so excited I couldn't sleep. That night I went and I slept at his parents' house, because at his parents' house it was his cousins who were now staying there because his parents were with him in the UK. So I think maybe they were just taking care of the house for them. When I went and I stayed with his cousins, I was so excited. This thing like when you are in Africa and you have this boyfriend that is overseas, you start to see yourself maybe one day on the plane going to the UK and never coming back to Africa. That was the position where I was right now. So the day when he was supposed to touch down, we went to the airport and we waited for him, and he came out and we were like hugging and kissing. Then we went back to the house. I still remember that a couple of days before, he had taken a picture of his flight tickets. Then he sent those pictures to me via WhatsApp. When I saw that those tickets were clearly marked that he was going to fly back and the date that he was supposed to take the flight, I then went to the pharmacy and I bought these pills. So these pills, when you drink them, they will stimulate your hormones so that you can start ovulating, because I knew that he was going to fly in and then stay for something like 3 weeks. Then he was supposed to fly back to the UK. So I had a limited window and I didn't want to leave anything to chance. I wanted to make sure that I'll fall pregnant for him. So when he landed, we went to the airport and we picked him up. Then we came back. That night, I made sure that he did the job, what he was supposed to do, so that I can fall pregnant. But I didn't tell him that I have been taking this ovulation stimulating pills and stuff. He just did what he did, thinking that this was just a casual thing. So a few days passed. Then he told me that there was this other guy who was organizing an all-black party. So I was surprised because the only parties that I knew that happened in town were like all-white parties, but I had never heard about an all-black party before. Then he explained to me that this party was like strictly by invite. So if I wanted to go with him, then he will add me to the list of the VIP, because he told me that the guy who was organizing this all-black party, it was like a close friend of his. So after everything that had happened, present at that party when this guy had returned to the UK. I then googled the name of that guy because he told me the name and stuff. So I went on Facebook, then I searched for that name. So this other profile came out, but what I saw on that profile was quite scary. I noticed that this guy, he only posted pictures of himself or other friends of his, because even this guy who had visited me from the UK, he had some pictures of his uploaded on that profile, but he was only wearing black clothes. They had black clothes, black cars, everything was just black. Even his profile picture, you could not look at it twice. The first time was enough for you to get scared. Before we went to the party, me and this boyfriend of mine, he told me that we had to go out shopping for the party. So we went out. It was an exciting thing because he was just spoiling me, spending a lot of money on me. So, but what surprised me is that in each and every shop that we were getting into, if I select a very nice party dress, that I'll be like, this is the perfect dress for me for the party, he would just ask the shop attendant something like, is there anything black in color? If the shop attendant say no, then he will tell me that select another dress. In the end, I had to select a dress of his own choosing because the ones that I wanted, they didn't have anything black in color. So he just chose the one that had black in color. We went out, but after we had gone out, we went into this other shop. I didn't even know that this shop even existed in town. It was like a tattoo shop, but at the back there was another shop. When we entered that shop, everything was just weird. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, in the country from where I come from and the town that I stay, it is like a poor town. So to see three white guys in that shop selling in a very small shop at the back of another small shop, it didn't make sense at all. So I thought maybe they were drug dealers or something. But this guy that I was with, he was like, relax, these white guys are not going to kill you or do you any harm. They just sell religious stuff. So as I was looking at the things that they were selling, there were things like, there was a skeleton on the cross, there was this other Bible, but when I looked at it, it was written the corrupted Bible, and they were like mask, like zombie mask, vampire mask. So this guy that I was with, he bought a zombie mask and a vampire mask. Then we went out. As we were going out, because I was in so much confusion because I had seen stuff that I had never seen before, like the Bible that we normally use at church, it has a cross and everything, but that Bible was written the corrupted Bible. Then next to that Bible, they were selling another Bible, but this Bible, it was so different because it had this other thing like a human skull designed where the cross is supposed to be. Then it was written the Holy Uncorrupted Bible. So I asked him why those Bibles. Then he was like explaining that this other Bible that was written the Uncorrupted Bible, it is all the Gospels that were found but were never included in this other corrupted Bible. So the whole thing was so confusing to me. Then the day for the party arrived. So me and this boyfriend of mine, we went out, and he told his cousins that we were going to come back like after 2 days or whatever, because this party, he said that he doesn't know when it is going to end. So we went out and we went to the guy's house. When we arrived there were big cars, there were big people, but there were not like many people, but everything there seemed so rich. So we went and then we parked. The house was so beautiful. It even had an indoor pool. There were cars parked inside, like luxury cars were parked inside the house. As the party was going on, everyone was just drinking beer, but I realized that people were not drinking beer straight from the cans or maybe from the bottles like normal people do, but there was this glass tank that was next to the pool. So what these people will do is that they will just walk to that glass tank. On that tank there was a tap sort of like connected to the glass tank. Then they would just open that tank, then the beer would just be poured into their glasses. But there was something strange about that beer because it was as thick as blood. I had never seen beer as red as that. So all along I was like just looking for my boyfriend because I didn't know where he was, because ever since that we walked into that party he just disappeared and I was like feeling out of place. So finally I was tired. I just went on this couch and I just sat down. So as I was sitting down, this other woman just approached me. She was like the most beautiful woman that I had ever seen in my life, even though I am a woman. But as I was looking at this woman, I was like in my heart, this is the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen in my life. And this woman just looked at me and smiled. It was as if she had heard everything that I was saying to myself in my heart. Then she offered me a drink and I said, no, I don't drink at all. She kept on insisting and she said, come on, just take a sip. The moment that I wanted to reach for that glass, she finished everything that was left in her glass. Then she stood up. So the moment that she stood up, I don't know what happened to me. I just kept on staring at her. Then I noticed that she was wearing this see-through black dress and underneath there was nothing, not even a bra, not even a panty. I felt this strange sexual urge just to sleep with her. This was like a strange feeling. She looked back and she just said to me, I am coming back. Don't even move a pinch. She walked so fast towards that glass tank. She poured some of that stuff. Then that woman came back. Then she sat right next to me. As she sat right next to me, my heart was beating so hard against my chest. Then she offered me a drink. I took that glass. Then I started to drink. But as I was drinking, I wanted to vomit because there was this strange smell of blood. All of a sudden, it was as if the whole air was full of blood. Even my nose, I could just smell blood. Like my mouth, I could taste blood. Then I just collapsed. The next thing that happened is that I woke up. I was dizzy at the moment, but I could see that there were people that had surrounded me and I was lying on top of a wooden table, and next to me there was this other girl that I couldn't recognize her face because they had put a vampire mask over her face. Even though I was paralyzed at that time, I couldn't even move a muscle. The only thing that I could move at that time were my eyes. So I kept on searching around the room trying to find my boyfriend, but I couldn't see my boyfriend because everyone that was surrounding us at the table, all of them, they had a mask over their heads, different type of mask. Some of them, they looked like zombies, some of them like vampires, so I couldn't even see my boyfriend. Then this other guy who was wearing a very big black gown approached us, even though he had a mask over his face, but I saw that he was a white guy because the gown was not covering all of his hands, so I could see that this was a white person. He was holding a knife, so he just approached me. Then he took my right hand, then he made a small opening so that the blood can start to flow. Then he took that girl's left hand and also did the same so that blood was flowing from her hand as well. Then he took both our hands, then he started to rub each hand against each other. The moment that he was doing that, there was another person who approached, but that person was now holding something that looked like a golden cup. Then they placed that cup underneath our hands so that the blood that was flowing from my right hand and also from that woman who was lying right next to me, they made sure that that blood then dropped into that golden cup, and they kept on rubbing our hands against each other so that the blood can mix before it drops into that cup. After they were satisfied with the blood that had dropped into that cup, the person who was holding that cup, where he went with that cup, I truly don't even know, because I just saw that he was walking away from that table and I didn't know where he was going. After they had left with that cup, the people who were left in the room, they started to sing, but the way that they were singing, they were not letting out the words. They were like as they were singing. Then they started to strip naked and they were like having sex, the next person having sex with the next person. It was a crazy scene that I had never seen in my life. They were just exchanging partners, but still they had the masks over their heads. I don't know if it was fear that had entered my heart because of all the things that I had seen in that house, or maybe it was that I had lost so much blood because I just felt dizzy and a terrible headache. Then I just fainted. The next thing that happened is that I woke up the very next morning and I was in a nightclub. So I asked this guy who was cleaning, because he was picking up beer bottles and empty beer cans. So I asked him, how did I get here? And he started to laugh and he said, you don't remember? You came here, I think maybe around 2 a.m. I'm that bartender that you wanted to rape last night. And I said, what do you mean that I wanted to rape you? He said, you came here, you were already drunk, so you wanted to buy more beer. And I was like, no, I cannot sell you more beer because you are already drunk. And you were like, I want to have sex with you, and if you don't want to have sex with me, I'm going to rape you. Then you just blacked out. And he told me that since we found out that you didn't have anyone accompanying you, you were just alone, and the moment that you blacked out, we were afraid that men were going to take advantage of you, so we carried you and let you rest in the office. When I looked at my right hand, I saw that I had marks on my right hand, exactly where that man had made a cut on my right hand. As I was looking, that guy just came and he said, "Oh, it was that empty broken beer bottle that you were holding. We had to grab that bottle from you because you wanted to stab this other lady, claiming that she had stolen your man." So I tried to explain everything that had happened the previous night. So this guy could not even believe me. He kept on telling me that you came here and you were so drunk and you scratched your hand with that broken beer bottle. I tried to look for my iPhone, but I couldn't find it. I just thought that maybe the time that I had blacked out, someone just stole that phone from me, or maybe at that house where we were having a party, my boyfriend had just picked up the phone before he had left. So I didn't have the money to go to that place where my boyfriend's cousin was staying. So first I went home so that I can get some money, then go over to his place. When I went to his place the following day, I was so shocked because they told me that my boyfriend had left the country the previous night. I tried to explain to my boyfriend's cousins exactly everything that had happened, us going to the All Black party, going out for shopping, us meeting those guys that were selling strange stuff, the Bibles that were written, the corrupted and the uncorrupted Bible. Each and every detail I told them, everything that had happened at the party and how I had woken up in a strange nightclub. But as I was speaking, then this other cousin brother of my boyfriend just got up and he was angry. He was like, "Lady, we don't even know you. The person that you claim is your boyfriend just left for the UK, and please, can you just leave this house and never come back, because we don't have any idea about all of these things that you're talking about. Please, can you just leave this room and never come back?" As I left that house, I cried so much. First, I cried for my iPhone, then I cried for my life, because I kept on thinking that that iPhone that I had bought, it had just come out. It was an expensive model. I had worked so hard to buy that iPhone, but it was just gone, and that boyfriend of mine was nowhere to be found. He had left the country without even telling me. When I arrived home, I asked for my sister's phone because I wanted to log in on Facebook, because I wanted to ask him why he had decided to treat me in such a way, but I was surprised that my Facebook account had been deleted. I tried to recover my account, but the unfortunate part was that the phone number that I had used to register my Facebook, I no longer had an idea where that SIM card was, and it was the same SIM card that I had used to register my WhatsApp. So there was no way that I could recover my Facebook account and also my WhatsApp account. That guy was just gone, and I never had any contact with him again. I have tried so many times to look him up, but I can just see some of his pictures that are uploaded on other people's profile, and they're just wearing black clothes, black everything. As I was trying to recover my account, I started to cry. Then my sister asked me what had happened. I told her everything that had happened, and I told her that I wanted to go and report to the police. She just asked me, "When we get at the police, what are you going to tell them? Do you even know the house where you went to do this party of yours?" I didn't even remember where we went. I had no proof at all. The only proof that I had was on Facebook and on my WhatsApp account, and both those accounts had been deleted just like that. My brother, sometimes when I think about my iPhone, I do cry, but I'm just lucky to be alive. Please post for me as anonymous. I'll follow up in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a story from one of our sisters. She asked me not to mention the name from where she sent us her confession from. Let's meet again in the following episodes.